12. Okay, what day is it? Hey, let's wait and see if anyone. Okay. Hey Facebook family. Let's see if anyone jumps on and joins me. I haven't been here for a while, so it might take a while to filter through. If you are here, let me know. I can't see any comments at the minute, so if you are already there, I'm not ignoring you, but I can't see anything. Although it says there's 6 people. I haven't been on here for so long, I'm not sure if anything has changed. Oh, here we go, there's a comment. Hey Sheila, hey Han. Yeah, I'm tired. I ain't gonna lie, I'm really tired, but I was trying to respond to some people and I just thought, I'm tired. Let's just do a live and everyone can go and watch the replay and I can go to bed. I want to go to sleep. I'm drained. Hey Lindsay, how are you? Hey Nicole. Hey Elena. I think that's all I can see. Oh, Kate. Hey Kate. Kate's on. The Kate Day is in the house. Hey Marilyn. Hey friends. Oh, hey. Okay, well, firstly, thank you to everybody that sent me messages. Prior to today and this evening. I appreciate everybody that's kind of been following my journey and have dropped into my inbox every now and then asking, is there any updates and that sort of thing. So I really, honestly, I'm not good at thanking people. I'm not good at it, but thank you, because I appreciate that so many of you spared just a little thought for me and my boys, like out of your daily life of whatever you're doing. So really, honestly, really does touch my heart. Hey Andrea, hey Gemma. Just I feel like life is kicking my ass right now, has been for a while, pretty much all of 2023. It just seems to be rolling one thing after the other, and I have so much faith that 2024 is going to be better. But I knew it wasn't going to start well. I knew, even though I was hoping for 2024 to start better, I also knew that I had something coming up that could possibly change everything. So let me just get you up to speed, because I know there's some people that might have no clue what I'm talking about. So let me roll it back and then I can come forward. So hey Shannon, hey Tanya. Some of you know, some of you don't. Back in May 2023, I was served a Section 21, it's called, notice from my landlord, that basically he wanted his house back. So I've been renting the property that I live in now. I've been renting this property from the same landlord for 11 years. So, like, this is my second home. This is Reese's second home, but this is the only home that Levi remembers, because he was a baby when we moved in here. We've been here for 11 years. The agents, the managing agents has changed. The first managing agents that I had, I absolutely loved. They were absolutely brilliant. Never had an issue with them. They sold their letting portfolio to another letting agency back in, was it 2000? I think it was 2018 or 2017. No, yeah, 2018. So it was sold to another firm. So then I became a tenant under a different company. I'm not mentioning companies' names. I'm not here to bash anyone. So I have been with this new agent, but in the same property, since 2018. The person who has always been my point of contact, I've never met until today. I'd never met them before. I've only ever spoken to him on the phone or via email. Never been any problems, no issues or anything, okay? But anyway, we were served notice in May and they were asking for us to leave by the 16th of July. So obviously that was like 2 months. Like, there was no way that I could move in 2 months, didn't have anywhere to go, like for me and the kids, blah, blah, you know, all the complications with that, right? So after speaking to Citizen Advice and all the places that you're told to call and ring and Google online and click this link, click that link, and spoke to the council, they advised me not to move, that if I moved out before the date of notice, I would be making myself homeless and they wouldn't be able to help me, so that I was to stay and wait for a court summons. So though that terrified me because I didn't know what that meant, like if waiting for a court summons, what does that mean? A bailiff's going to turn up on my door? It was terrifying. Anyway, the whole of 2023, I have lived in terror, lived in fear, on and off. There'll be days that I woke up and I was like, no, I've got this, it's going to be fine. And then there'll be days that I crash and burn. Some of you may have seen some of my reels or stories where I've crashed and burned, right? I ain't going to lie, it's been up, down, the whole, since May 2023, that's what it's been like, up, down, up, down. Not only that, from being served notice and the cost of living going up, and then I got a gas bill of £1,600 in March, which really set me back financially, and my bills were just going up and up and up and up and up. I fell into financial difficulty. I didn't have enough coming in to pay everything, so I fell behind on my rent, started to fall behind on my rent. I was paying something every month, but not enough, so I was falling into arrears. So they added that to the original Section 21 notice, and now they had me on, well, we want her out anyway, but now she's behind on her rent, if you get what I mean. It was just really frustrating because it was just so frustrating because I had already pre-warned them in March that I am struggling and I'm probably not going to be able to catch myself back up until about September. So it wasn't like I hadn't told them. It wasn't like I was ignoring it. It wasn't like I wasn't paying them anything. I was. Anyway, that's the situation. Caught up my rent in October fully by the grace of my mother. My mum helped me out. My mum, I'm not going to be ashamed to say it. I am ashamed in a way of I should be able to help my mum. Well, I feel like I should be supporting my mum at this stage in my life, but it's still the other way around. Sometimes my mum, when she's able to, she helps. So she helped, got back on straight with my rent. So they couldn't, so I was no longer in arrears, but obviously I'd already, by that point, I paid the arrears, and on the same day, I got the court papers to say that I was been summoned to court for January the 16th. So like I kind of dipped and then come back up, and dipped and came back up, and it was just, I've been in limbo. I have not wanted to plan anything. I've not wanted to do anything because I don't know if we're staying or coming or going. We don't know how we got home, not got home. What does this all mean? I don't have any legal representation because I can't afford to pay for a solicitor. Like, you know, that their hourly rates are expensive, and this needs to be somebody that specifically knows about, I don't know, tenancy agreements, I guess. I don't know anyone that would even, and even these days, even if you know someone that might be able to look at your paperwork, I'm going to say it, most people these days, they think about themselves first. They don't think, well, you know what, ain't going to cost me nothing to look at it for 10 minutes. Most people think money. People think favour. Like, well, what am I going to get out of it, as opposed to, yeah, sure, like if it was me and I had information or a tool and I've done it and do it all the time, if I can help someone, I will help them. I don't think, well, what am I going to get out of that? Or, well, you're going to give me something in return. But I find a lot of people today, that mentality seems to be lost. So I'm not going to go around begging people when I know I haven't got the money to pay them. I'm not going to go around asking people for anything when I know I haven't got the money to pay them, because most people want to be paid, and there's nothing wrong with people being paid. But sometimes people just need a break. Sometimes people out there just need a break, just need someone to say, listen, let me help with that, right? But it's really hard to find that in this world today. So anyway, I haven't had any legal representation at all, other than the guidance that I've had from the council, which hasn't been a lot. That's been very scarce, to be fair, right? They are inundated, which is shocking. The amount of people they've got that are homeless right now, for the same reason, no fault evictions, meaning they've done nothing wrong. The landlord just served them notice because they want their house back. They don't have to give you a reason to why they want their property back. There's thousands of people going through the same thing. I'm not a special case. I'm not a special case. So anyway, that's how I've been living. And today was the day that I needed to be in court. So last night I sat, well, last night, all day, yesterday, shall I say, from when I got up and got myself sorted, I sat all day and all night going through all of the paperwork that I've been sent. Like, I've got, like, they're like this, like that I've been, all these legal documents that I have no clue what I'm even reading, but trying to make sense of some of the words. What does that mean? Highlighting anywhere that I didn't understand, thinking, you know, I'll ask the duty solicitor, because you can have a duty solicitor that's appointed by the court on the day if you've got no legal representations. And they said on the letter, you get 20 minutes with them. So I thought I need to go in there prepared with any questions that I might have or any concerns I might have, because I've only got 20 minutes to speak to them. And the actual case was only allocated 15 minutes. So I thought, I don't know if I actually get to speak or not. So just in case, let me just sit down and write down whatever and go through all this paperwork, try and make sense of it all. Because I've got to be honest, from when they arrived, I read through them, I put it down, I didn't look at them again. Because like the anxiety of looking at it, I just couldn't look at it again. So last night was the first time that I properly went through it all. And I wrote pages. Look, I can show you. I wrote, I don't know if you can see. Oh, I wrote pages and pages of notes. What I did is I sort of tracked back from when all the problems started up until the present day. Like all the conversations I had, who I spoke to, the times, the dates, etc. I tracked back so that if they were to ask me, I could say, well, on this day or what. Like the thing is, right, I have been into a magistrate's court before, but not for this kind of thing. It was something different, and I wasn't sure how I wasn't sure how this works. Like, so I just thought if I've got it all, then it's better to have it than to not have it. So I went through and I did all of that. I went through all the paperwork, I highlighted places. I pulled out documents that they were referring to in their letters. I pulled them out, the copies that I had, and I just got prepared. And I've been sent a couple of YouTube links by my friend Jamila, this channel, and I've been tuning into that. And I you know, I don't know what people here believe in, but I do believe in the higher power. I do believe in God. I am a woman of faith. I don't follow religion, right? I am a woman of faith. I have a relationship with my God, right? So I've been tuning in a lot more, getting closer to him. And when I was doing this yesterday and last night, that was the only thing that was keeping me going, from not giving up, from not, like, there's some sections I got to and was like, I don't even know what this means. I don't know what this means. You know, why am I even doing this? Why am I even doing this? Because they're just going to write me off. Like, I don't have a leg to stand on. At the end of the day, it's not my property. It's not my property. So why am I, you know, and every time I had to lean into I had to lean into him to get through it. I was up till 6:30 a.m. I went to bed at 6:30 a.m. and I was up at 8:30. Right, so I only had a couple of hours sleep, and then I got myself sorted, took my time, got myself sorted. Kids went off to school and college, and I got myself sorted. And then my friend Sheila, she had offered to come and pick me up and take me. So she took me to the court. So she came and picked me up, and she asked me, she said, how are you feeling? And I was like, I didn't know, I didn't feel anything at that point. Like, I wasn't sad. I was scared, but not scared. I can't even explain it. I just didn't feel anything at that point. And I just think because I've put myself into his faith, into him, that whatever it is going to be, it's for his will, whatever that is. If I stay, if I go, it's for his will. I have to believe that. I have to believe that. What else can I do but believe that? And then I had to think back to other situations that I've had in my life throughout my life journey on this planet. And the last time I was at a magistrate's court, I'll tell you for real, was back in 2000. Was it 2011 or 2012? It was either 2011 or 2012. It wasn't long before I moved into here. And I was there because I had not long become a single parent. It must have been, yeah, because I had Levi. So it wasn't long after I'd had Levi. So it must have been early 2012. Yeah, early 2012. Levi was baby. He was in a sling. Reese had just started, like school, like, you know, what do they call it before primary? I can't remember what it's called, but, you know, he just started school. My husband at that time was no longer living with me. And I was struggling paying the mortgage on the house that we owned. And the mortgage company was taking me to court to get repossess the property that I was living with the two boys. So that was the last time I'd been to a magistrate's court, and it's a different building to the one that I was at. It's moved buildings, and it was a very different setup. But I'd gone in there with the vision of the setup that I'd previously experienced, and it totally wasn't like that. Like, the building's brand new, and when we walked in, I felt, at first, it felt like, you know, the security, I mean, I guess they have to have it, but I just wasn't expecting it. It felt like the same strict security you have when you go to the airport. I guess, I don't know, maybe they have them at prisons. I've got no idea. But, you know, we had to take everything off, had to put it in the tray. They had to check everything. They had to open all our bags and all of these things. And I just wasn't expecting that. And that scared the life out of me. I don't know why. It just freaked me out. It was the weirdest thing. And go through the machine. I just wasn't expecting it. And then we went up these stairs, and we didn't know which room I was meant to be in. And this woman came out and said, you know, can we help you? And sort of said, we don't know where we're meant to be. And so she went down this list, found my name. She said, oh, you're with me. So she took us into this room. And as we walked into this room, there was these two other people in there, male and female. And I just instantly was nervous. Why? Like, who are these people? Who are these people? She'd already made it known that she was the duty solicitor on that day. And it was her that, you know, I could have a conversation with. But she hadn't said who these two people were. So we're in a room and she's talking to me. And I'm really nervous because there's these other two people. Like, who are they? Like, two random people. I think she twigged that I was a bit. So she then said, oh, these are, like, they were, I think I can't remember what they were called. But, you know, like, seeing how cases work in real life kind of thing. They're on the job. They're professionals, but they're not quite ready to do cases on their own. I guess they come to see what it's like. So they were there. So once I knew that, then I relaxed. But this woman, I'm trying to cut this short. This woman terrified me from the moment we started talking. Not in that she was horrible. She was lovely. She was really nice. But she went through my paperwork, she skimmed over a couple of things, she asked me a couple of things, and then she literally almost felt like she put her pen and paper down. You know, like when somebody's like, right then, and you instantly know bad news is kind of coming, but when it's said, it shocks you. She pretty much said, again, I can't remember because everything just blurs. She said, basically, they're probably going to get their possession order today. And my whole being just, like, I felt like it just left me. I literally just emptied and the tears came. But I wasn't sobbing like, it wasn't like that. It was more like, I surrendered in that moment. I literally surrendered to it. There's nothing I can say or do that is going to change this. I just got to listen to whatever she's got to say. So I'm silently crying. I can feel Sheila rubbing my back because she was sat behind me. And all that's going through my head was, oh, help me, Lord, help me find the words to tell the boys. Like, help me find the words to tell the boys. Help me find the words to tell the boys. Like, I wasn't even listening to half the stuff that she was saying. It was just more, how am I going to come home and tell them? Because, you know, she was basically saying it was going to be awarded. And then I said, I can't remember what I said. I don't know if I said, what does that mean? And she said, I can't remember. If Sheila, if you're here, you might be able to fill in the gaps, because I can't remember everything that was said, but it was something along the lines, I think I asked her what happens, and she said, you will get 14 days to move. If they get awarded, you get 14 days. Oh my gosh. Sorry, I just have to take a moment, because oh, I know I'm smiling, but it's the shock of it. And I even felt Sheila's shock through my soul. It's like I felt her, I think she heard me swallow, and I felt the breath leave her body when she heard the same thing, 14 days. I was just like, what the heck? What, like, obviously I didn't explode, I didn't do any of those things, but in my mind it was like, what the 14 days? How am I going to pick up my whole life of 11 years, 2 boys and a cat, all I and find somewhere in 14 days? I've been looking for months. I've been looking for somewhere since May of 2023, and here we are in January 2024, and you're going to give like 14 days. And I think she said something along the lines of that sometimes it can be extended to like a month or something, but it's generally 14 days. And that's what I mean by people are horrible. Like, humans are horrible, because whoever created this system is not for our benefit at all. It's to keep you in depression, because how could you possibly expect anybody to do that? Especially when it's of no fault of their own. It's not like this person has sat in your property for months and months and not paid the rent, trashed the place. I get it. You want them out immediately. But for this kind of, where's the sense of that? Not only that, for the privilege, you also get to pay all of the bill, all of the court fees, all of the claimant, which would be my landlord, all of the fees that he's had to pay his lawyers. I would be landed with the bill to pay that too. So I was kind of like, so for the privilege of living in your property for 11 years, looking after it like it's my own, all of those things, paying my rent, not quibbling, whatever, you evict me, I have nowhere to go and had no choice but to take this route, because that's what I was advised to do. You take me to court, even though I've told you numerous times I don't want to go to court. You take me to court, I come to court, you win the case, and I pay you for taking me to court and putting me in this position in the first place. Like, make that make sense? It doesn't make sense. Our system is nonsense. It's nonsense. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. So that's what she told me. So she was like, she was literally saying, like, prepare yourself, like, for when I go into the courtroom. That's literally what I'm going to hear in the courtroom. That's literally what she was telling me. So I'm crying silently. Sheila's rubbing my back, and she was like, anything you want to ask me? And I had this book in front of me with all this stuff that I've written down, and I literally just closed it and put it away. I closed it, put it, all this stuff. I've got it all here, actually. Hold on, I'll show you. It's so heavy. Sorry, Sheila, because you carried my bag at one point. This is so heavy. All the stuff that I've got, like, that's one. Okay, that's all my past documents. And then these are the 2 court files, right, that came, right? I had it all out, and I had my book out, and I just literally closed it and put it all away, because I just, at that moment, just thought, doesn't matter what I say here now. It really doesn't. It really is in his hands. It really is in God's hands. What if it's meant to be that I'm meant to be kicked out in 14 days, then so be it. Like, it doesn't matter what I've written on my pad. Doesn't matter what I've highlighted. It doesn't matter, because clearly nobody really gives a damn. Nobody really cares about this. That was my thought process. So anyway, we had to then go into the court, and as we come out, there was this woman standing to the left, really like glamorous kind of looking, but you could see she was a mature lady, and I just thought she was another solicitor. Walked past her, taken through to these double doors, and remember, in my mind, I have the vision of when I was last in a magistrate's court, which, like I said, was way back in 2012, and at that point, when I went in there, then it was like a conference room, and there was the judge at one side of the table, the solicitor, and myself. So I got that vision in my mind. When we pushed open these double doors, it was like a proper courtroom, and I literally shook, like I hadn't prepared myself mentally to see that vision of a courtroom. And I mean, judge up high on whatever that's called, the pedestal thing that they sit at. Then there's a gap, then there was glass, like glass barrier, then there's the secretary that takes all the notes, whatever they're called, and then there was two tables, one with the agents, the landlord's lawyer, and the other table had the duty lawyer, and then two tables behind that I was told to sit behind the duty solicitor. And then as I looked, the woman I'd seen in the hallway that I thought, oh, she must be another lawyer, sat behind there. So I thought, oh, she is a lawyer. She must be with the girl in front, you know, because, you know, they bring their colleagues and all that, right? That's what I was thinking. So they're talking in legal jargon. I could barely hear, because the judge was so far away, I could barely hear what she was saying. They don't ask you to actually stand up and speak. It's all done through the solicitor. So she'd had all the notes from when we'd spoken. And the other side, it was a young, pretty Asian, Indian girl, I'd say, really pretty. And she kept passing paper. They kept passing paper back and forth, like, between them. And, you know, like, and whispering and stuff. And I was just like, what is happening? I had no clue what was happening. I didn't understand what anyone was saying to me, saying in there. I didn't understand any of the terminology. And then I heard a certain name and realised that the lady that was sat next to me is the very same lady that I have dealt with all of this time by phone or email, but have never met. And this lady has treated me so disgustingly since she served me notice. Like, she's made, without saying it, she's made it very clear that she wants us out because they can get more money for this house, right? And when I knew it was her, like, you know, when you're enraged, but I couldn't say anything. I had to keep my mouth up. I had to keep my cool. She wouldn't look at me. Every time she would not look at me. But anyway, what ended up happening was, I'm clueless to what's happening. I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's going on. I don't even know what they're talking about. And then it's somewhere along the lines, it comes up about some documents that they're supposed to have given me, the gas certificate that you're supposed to get every year, which I have been getting every year, but the last 2 years I haven't had a copy of. So that was in dispute because I'm saying I never got those. They're saying that they sent it, but they have no dates of when they sent it, how they sent it, whether it was post or email, any of those things. So the judge was like, well, that's a concern. So they need to come back and prove what they did with that. They also said that I was in rent arrears, which I was like, no, I'm not. I'm not in rent arrears. Where's that coming from? Where I'd paid some money in December, they had reduced the amount I'd actually paid on the statement that they printed out, which I had never seen this statement until today. And So when I'd queried it before we got into the courtroom, and I said, no, that's wrong. I know I paid more than that. And I was able to prove it on my bank statement by getting it online and showing the duty solicitor. So when it came up and they tried to go home in on, and we're not just doing Section 21, we also want to do the Section 8 or whatever it was for rent arrears. And that's when my duty sister stood up, like basically piped up and said, well, no, she's not in rent arrears. She's paid all of her rent. And this and this says this. But I can tell you now, I have seen a bank statement that proves that this is what she paid and she's not in any rent arrears. So then they kind of couldn't say anything about the December. Then they said, but she's in rent arrears for January. So the judge asked, when was it due? Rent arrears. January's rent was due on the 15th of January, so yesterday. It's not because I wasn't going to pay it. And I just said to Sheila the other day, a couple of days ago, I don't know whether I should pay the rent or not, because it's due on the 15th, but I'm in court on the 16th. My concern was the way I've been treated by this person is that if I paid my rent on yesterday and I walked into that court today and they told me I needed to leave, I would have then had a struggle on my hands to get my money back. They would have found a reason, and especially that they want me to pay the solicitor, all the lawyers' fees, which at the moment is 1,300 something pounds. That's how much it is at the moment, right? So there's no way they would have given my money back. There's no way, right? So that's why I didn't pay it. I thought, let me wait and see what they say at court first. And if I'm able to stay, then I'll pay it. So obviously my duty solicitor has said the same. Like, and it was like yesterday, like it's one day. Anyway, thank you, Jesus. The judge agreed on that, like it's one day, and obviously it's common sense, like who is going to pay when they could be kicked out 24 hours later? Like, do you know what I mean? But it's horrible to hear it and not be able to defend yourself, not be able to speak yourself, not be able to stand up and say, hang on a minute, and having all of this information and not being able to say, and this, and this, and this kind of thing. But I have to remember, it's not a Crown Court. It's not judge and jury, right? So duty solicitor was able to get that squashed. And then what came up? They were saying that they weren't aware of anything, I don't know if it was defects. I can't remember the words. Sorry, guys. Like I said, I'm not technical like that. But basically that they were saying that they were not aware of anything needed doing in the house, that there was no repairs that needed doing, that they're not aware of any. Now, if you guys have been following me, you would have seen my stories of the leaky boiler flooding the kitchen. You would have seen the leaky tap. You would have seen the leak coming through the sink into the cupboard under the sink, right? You would have seen that, okay? I've been contacting them for months, sending them the videos, sending them pictures, etc. Again, by grace of God, he spoke to me yesterday when I was going through this paperwork and said, that little voice in my mind said, resend all of those videos of the boiler, resend it. You know you've sent it already and you've not had a response, resend it, just resend it. So I resent every single one and said in the emails, resending, this was sent on such and such date, here's the proof, just resending, because I still haven't had a response. And I sent every single one. So they would have got it this morning. They were saying in court that they only knew about it 10 minutes prior. They actually said 10 minutes prior. And I turned around to I couldn't help myself. I think I put my hand on the desk and I went, oh, like mouth wide open, like, oh, and turned around and faced Sheila like, I can't believe they're blatantly lying in court. I cannot believe they're blatantly lying. Like, I couldn't believe it. Again, oh, this is what I'm saying. God is good. You need to know who he is. I had sent a letter to the landlord, directly to the landlord a few months ago, practically begging, I ain't gonna lie, I was begging to stay. Can we come to an agreement? Is there anything I can do? Blah, blah, blah. Let him know how the letting, the letting agent, the options they'd given me wasn't doable, etc. But I'd also put in that letter that just to make you aware, the boiler's leaking, the tap, listed off the stuff. And I have let the letting agent know, but I haven't had a response, so I don't know if you're aware of it. I wasn't asking him to do anything. I was just letting him know, right? So I'd put this in this letter. Me being me, because that's SJ, sent that letter first class post signed for, right? So it has a tracking number. Someone would have had to sign for it, etc. I've got a copy of that letter. The receipt is attached to the letter. So when they said that in court, and obviously after my shocked response, my duty solicitor was able to say, well, we have proof that they were informed, not only because of the emails that were sent, but it was also the landlord was told directly himself. And so the judge asked to see a copy of the letter. So she took my letter, and obviously that letter didn't just say that in there. In there it also said all the stuff the letting agent had been telling me. So the judge had a look through and she could see it there in black and white. So she was basically saying, well, even if the agent wasn't aware, the owner of the property was, because the evidence is right here. So it flipped, and this is the point where I had I was lost. They started going on about a counterclaim, and I was literally whispering, going, excuse me, trying to get the duty solicitor's attention, because I was like, what are they signing me up to? What does a counterclaim mean? Counterclaim for what? I'm not here to take anyone to court. I don't want to make this difficult for the landlord or anyone else. I just want a solution that I know me and my kids are going to be safe. I'm not here to make things difficult. So I was really panicked. It turns out what they were saying is, because of the boiler and the other stuff that needs doing in this house, and it hasn't been attended to, I can now put in for a counterclaim against the landlord because of that. And it kind of, I'm not even going to go into the technical because I'm going to get it. Sheila would be able to tell you. Sheila can put in the comments of why that would benefit me. I don't know. So the judge has awarded you get 28 days to put in for a counter claim. So the case has to be adjourned for at least that time to allow me time to put in for a counter claim. And I think they have to reapply. I think they have to reapply for a new court date once they've got all of the documents in order that they've been asked to present by the judge. I think that's what I understand. They're gonna, the duty solicitor's gonna send me everything in writing so I can read through things and how I do a counterclaim, and obviously get back in touch with the council, let them know where I'm at now. So the result is I've got extra time. I'm not safe. I'm not safe. I've got extra time. The case hasn't been won or lost by either side. It's been delayed, is what I would say, right? If we go back, say, end of March, and they win, I have 14 days to move, right? And I've got all of the legal costs that would have occurred, whatever that amount is at that point. Bearing in mind, it's already up to 1,300. So whatever that is at that point, I will be liable for it. If I win, I don't see how I can, to be honest, because this isn't my property. So I don't see how I can win. I can't see that. Anyway, either way, bottom line, while I've been thinking about it this evening, is I'm going to have to move. I still need to find somewhere else to live because, one, this woman, like the way she was today in court, and then as me and Sheila was leaving, she was downstairs. She couldn't even look me in my face. Like, how unprofessional is that? I'm your tenant. I haven't done anything wrong. You served me notice, and I have expressed over and over again, I am not trying to make this difficult. I do not want to go to court. So why wouldn't you introduce yourself and say, I'm sorry we're having to do this, but this is the procedure we have to do? And, you know, you hear it all the time. The council even tell you have to go down this route for us to be able to help you. So if you were coming to me and saying, I'm really sorry, but we have to do this, I'm not unreasonable. I'd get it. But you're treating me like I've done you something. And the way she's spoken to me on the phone, when this initially started, she made me feel absolutely worthless because I was a single parent. And how am I going to afford an increase in rent? you know, you're never going to be able to do it, Sylvia, and you're going to mess the landlord up. The way she spoke to me, like, really, oh, I tell you, like, so either way, I'm not going to be able to trust this woman, am I? As my managing agent. I'm not dealing with the landlord. I've never met the landlord. I don't know whether he's a nice man or not. I have no idea. But I know, the one thing I know is if I'm staying in this property, I'm going to have to deal with this woman. And she owns this agency. So the relationship's already, is broken down, right? She clearly does not want to speak to me, right? So I'm saying her ego, she walked in that courtroom with the notion that, well, this is easy. This is, right? She clearly didn't expect me to come in there with loads of different documents, loads of different paperwork, she didn't expect that because she knows I've got no legal representation. Well, the person that represented me today was God. That was the one that represented me today. He guided me to write down what I needed to have with me. And he was the one that stood and represented me today. You can't match that, I'm afraid, lady. Yes, I've got delayed time, but I am going to have to move at some point. So I have to still looking. So I have to keep still looking. I've got maybe till March. That's not a lot of time. That's 2 months. It's not a lot of time. That can go like that. I can go like that. I don't know what the plan is. I don't know how I'm going to do it. I have no idea. I don't. At this moment in time, I don't. That is where I'm at. So tomorrow will be a new day where I'm going to have to phone the council. I'm going to have to speak to them because this is privately rented, just so you all know. It's not council. This is privately rented for the past 11 years. Now I'm finding myself having to speak to the very people that I do not want to speak to. I don't ever want to be in the system like that. I don't. That is not what I want. I've never been in that system, and to think that I might have to do it for a little while, just like, but if that is the way, then that is the way. But I don't know. I'm just doing what I've done all of this time, taking it a day at a time, small step, small step. And if I can't manage it, I'm not doing it, because I'm not going to keep feeding into the things that are toxic for me, because it's not helpful for me, and the result pretty much ends up the same. I will feed into wherever he leads me to. That's it. And whatever that is, it is. Sorry I'm missing all your comments. I wasn't reading because I know I'd go off on a tangent. Tell her you know what a good makeup is, and if she needs your help to tap you up. I can't fix her appalling character. No, I mean, I don't know. I mean, she might be a lovely lady outside of work for all I know, but my personal experience with this woman, I don't know. And I'm going to be real about it. It might simply be because of this. Because if I've got her nationality right, they're not too keen on us black people. It might seem, because she talks to me and looks down at me like I am absolutely nothing on the floor. There's been no, there's not even been, and I know they probably don't have to, it's not in their thing, but if good customer service, this person's been a tenant with you since 2017, sorry. It's 2017 or 18? 2018, 20, 21, 22, 23. So for at least 5 years. Do you not have no care for your client, your tenant? Like, there's been no offer of assistance, guidance, or we've got other properties that are a little bit cheaper, that are a little bit smaller, that there's been none of that. There's been none of that. Literally, here's your notice, get out, and if you don't, we're taking you to court. And then we're just going to ignore all of your communications, because we know you're going to get you out, so we're not going to fix anything while you're in there. Once you're out, we'll sort it. That's how I've been made to feel by just this particular person. And from what I understand, is she is the CEO or whatever of the company. I don't know. Like I said, today was the very first time that I've actually seen her in the flesh. So it was, and it was funny. Sheila was like, she reminds me of something, and I was like, Cruella de Vil, and she was like, yes, but she did, she did, like, but not in a, I'm not going to say it in a nasty way, as in that she was unattractive. I don't mean it like that. She just had that coldness to her, that just, you can see from her persona today, she's a hard, cold businesswoman. Like, she wants to make money. If it ain't making her no money, she ain't interested. She don't want to hear no sob story. That's the type of character I get from her. I could be completely wrong. I'm making the assumption from my experience with her. I've never spent any time with this lady, so I could be completely wrong. But that's the vibe that she gives me. You know, it's awful. Let's see what you're saying. Sounds like she's very slack with documents. Who goes to court without being able to supply the necessary... Well, that's right. But you see, I think, Lucy, though, this is the thing. Most of us most people would walk in, if you're scared and you're alone, say it was another single parent like me that has never been through anything like this before and had no assistance, and you're scared and alone, would have just walked in there with their handbag, wouldn't? And the application form there's an application form that comes with a pack that you need to fill in with all your details and your expenditure and all of that. You'd probably just walk in with the letters, and which is exactly what I did back in 2012 when the mortgage, Northern Rock at the time, were wanting to repossess the house. I didn't know what I shouldn't do or look out for. I just walked in there with the paperwork that I was sent with absolutely no clue. And that's what most of these people bank on, is that most people aren't going to read the fine print. Most people won't be able to afford to get somebody in that profession that can look over the paperwork. They'll rely on a duty solicitor. All right. I mean, you tell me, I could be wrong, but I would probably say 95% of the population would rely on a duty solicitor. They wouldn't have access to immediate money that they could be paying £126 an hour just to have a telephone conversation or whatever it is that they charge, right? So that's the thing. So some of these, I mean, I'm not saying it's right, but I imagine you've got lawyers, solicitors, whatever you want to call it, walk into courts with missing pieces, knowing full well no one's going to ask for it. It's not right, but that's reality, isn't it? Because had I not said to my duty solicitor, if I had not had it written down that I sent a letter to the landlord on such and such day, I didn't have a reply, but I did send this, and here's the letter. If I had not been proactive and said all of those things, would my duty solicitor have asked me anything like that? She probably wouldn't have. Do you know what I mean? So it's a difficult one. It's a really difficult one, I think. Just going back to, sorry, I'll go back and read the comments afterwards. But the council should have validated the notice and written to the landlord, advised that all documents were not in order. Well, again, they may well have, Carly. They may well have. But if they're treating the council like they've been treating me by not responding, because I've been telling them about the boiler and nobody's responded. That boiler is still leaking. The bucket fills up very quickly. Every other day I have to empty that bucket, right? And the noise it makes when it turns on, like, there's been times I'm like, is this going to... Do I need to worry about this bit exploding? Like, you know? I don't know. I've never heard of this agency until they took over from the previous agent. I hadn't heard of them before that, so I don't know much about that. And it's funny because there's been one or two properties I've seen that have been within my budget, and I haven't been able to view them because they're under the same agency, and I know that they would block me from seeing it straight away. Lisa, you should be so proud of yourself. You've done everything by the book, kept your cool, kept your head up and dignity. God will see you good. Just keep on going through the good and bad. I pray this all works out in your favour in due course, whatever the outcome is for you. Thank you, Lisa. Exactly that. Whatever the outcome, because right now I have no idea what that is. And, you know, I have no idea what that is. Get environmental health out. Environmental health? What would that be for? The boiler, Ursula? Sending lots of hugs. just got to put an hour's trust in a higher power. That's right. You've just got to put an hour. You know what? Even that, you don't even have to do an hour. You just have to spend time whenever that's the thing that I've been learning, because I used to think, like with praying and things like that you'd have to be in a special place, in a special position, is all of these different things. Or, you need to go to church. But that's the world. That's man's world. That's man that's created that narrative and conditioned us to believe that you're not worthy of prayer, or your prayers won't be answered if you're not going to church every Sunday, or if you're not praying on your knees, or you're not praying with the Bible. All of these different things that lots of us have learned over from different cultures or whatever. None of it's true. Like, I don't know the Bible inside out. I really don't, right? But I know bits, and I've been shown bits, and been talking about bits, and people teach me bits. But I'm sure there's somewhere that I don't know the exact verse. Don't ask me to quote scriptures. I'm not that person. If you want that, you need to speak to people like Sister Marva. I don't know how to. I'm not one of those people that can say, and scripture, da 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 da. I'm not that person. But I know there is somewhere, and if you know it, you can put it in the comments, that it says that God is within you. He is always in you. The Holy Ghost is always, it's always in you. So therefore, if it's always in you, you can talk to him anywhere you are. Like, I could, right here, on the toilet, in the bar, wherever you are. You don't, I'm not saying don't go to church. I'm not saying if that is what is for you, then do that. I'm not saying that, but I am now switched myself off from listening to people that tell you that if you don't, you're not worthy of his love, or you're not worthy of any of that, because that is not true. We've got many people that are in those establishments that, quite frankly, they shouldn't be there, right? Many people up in the churches and all of these spaces and all of these high places that shouldn't be there, that say they are of God and are preaching and advising and inspiring and uplifting all these people around the world, yet you're doing all the most vulgar things you could think of out there. But you say you're the chosen one to tell me how I should pray, or tell me what I need to, how much of my wages I need to be given in, whatever it's called, time, or whatever it's called. You have the right to tell me that, yet you're cheating on your wife, or you're sleeping with a man, or you're messing with children, you're all doing, but you want to come and, no, I don't think so. I'm not perfect. I know I'm not perfect. I have a lot to bloody learn, and I'm sure that I have not made it to heaven yet, as in, I'm not on the tick list that God's looking down saying, yep, she's definitely coming. I'm not on that. I know I'm not, because there's things in my life that I know I need to change. But I ain't that either. I'm not gonna stand up in a church and be hypocritical. I'm not going to do that. And I'm not going to stand up in a church amongst people that are doing that either, because I believe very much in energies transferring between us. And if I'm surrounded by that type of people, what kind of energy is feeding into my soul and in my mind? I have to cut that out, mate. So I just disassociate myself from those places. If I was to find a place that I felt comfortable and whole in, and it felt right for me, yeah, I'd go. But I have not found that yet. I've tried. I'm yet to find it. I've got special people in my life that when I want to have these conversations, or I'm confused about something, or I've heard something, or I'm questioning something, I've got people in my life that I trust and have led me well, that I can go to and say, hey, what do you think about this? I heard this the other day, and they ain't going to judge me and tell me, oh, no, blasphemy. They're going to have a conversation with me and allow me to make up my own mind of what I truly believe, as opposed to making me feel bad about, and I think that's how it should be. It's an individual relationship. And once you have that individual relationship, I believe you can then connect that with other people that also have an individual relationship with that person, and you can all intertwine. It's kind of like friendships, isn't it? Like there might be 4 friends that have one friend they have the one friend in common, but the other four have never met, but something links them together, and all of a sudden you all become one. Doesn't mean you're all in each other's pockets every 24/7. But do you understand what I mean? You've got those people that, I don't know. I mean, there's lots of things that confuse me in terms of what's right and what's wrong and blah blah blah. But like I said, I'm still learning and growing, and I'm not perfect, and I don't know if I'll make it to heaven or not. I don't think anybody knows that. I don't think anyone on this planet can honestly say, well, you can if you want to, but nobody can really truly say that you are going straight to heaven. You can't. Nobody knows. Nobody knows that. All you can do is try and live your best to the laws. That's it. That's it, really, right? And try and encourage others to do the same. That's all you can do, right? Real friends with best intentions and no hidden agendas. That's right, Andrea. Just describe the Brandy sisters. You brought all us ladies together and love you all. Yeah, Shannon. Yeah, absolutely. Like, you know, and it doesn't mean that you're all going to agree on things. You'll have disagreements, different ideas maybe. But I just think that, I don't know, we've said it loads of times. Religion is that's a tool. That is a tool. It's not real. I'm definitely going to hell, Valentina. Bless you. No, I want to go to heaven. You know, like, I had to ask myself, what's your like? I don't know if I should even be bringing this up, because I literally wanted to drop on and come off, but I understand people that believe in the devil but don't believe in God. You can't believe in evil and not good. Like, you can't believe in good and not evil. Like, if there's one, there has to be another. So I don't understand that. So just from my point of view, that I believe in both. So if I believe in both, I had to ask myself this question, by the way, after watching something, to ask myself a serious question. If I believe in both, which one am I following? Which one am I actually following in my life? Which one? And that's when you have to look at what you're doing and make that decision. If it's not following one, it's following the other. So if you don't, like, I don't want to offend anyone, but do you understand what I mean? You're following one or the other, whether you realise it or not. I don't know if that makes sense. We're sorry to hear all this, and I feel your pain. We're going through the same thing. Yeah, have you been... I know you and Ryan are going through it, Andrea. Have you got to go to court as well? That's what I'm saying. I'm not a special case. It's happening to everybody. No worries, Ursula. No, it's still at Watford General, but message me. Oh, man. I'll drop you a message. Either way, I've got to move. Bottom line for my journey today is I have to move. I'm going to have to find somewhere else to live. And on top of that, I also have to find a new car. So that's what I mean. Like, it's been life has been really kicking my ass. I have a problem with my car that I didn't know was a problem until I took it in for them to check. And when I've done all these different checks like they do, blah, 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 anyway, long story short, all the repairs, I'm looking at £3,500 grand, which is way more than the car is worth. The car was not worth that. Yes, I'm gutted because I love the car. The car still drives. Like, you would never know there was even any problems, but it will not pass an MOT with the stuff that needs doing. And the garage is already advised it is not worth spending that on the car when it's not even worth that. So invest in getting a new car. But you see, like, how? How right now when I need to find a house to live in? You know, cost of moving, storage, somewhere else to like, all of these, like, and a car on top. So I had to cancel my dance class. I was meant to restart my dance classes yesterday, Monday, and I had to cancel it because I can't get to Leighton Buzzard. My car, I have no light. Like, my lights are, I have a problem with my lights. So I can't drive the car at night, so I can't get to Leighton Buzzard. So I had to cancel, which gutted, because I really wanted to dance yesterday as well, to kind of flush out any anxiety ready for today, and I wasn't able to do it. So at the moment, it does feel like I'm shredding or being stripped of things, certain things. And it is whatever it's meant to be. All I have to remember is how I respond to whatever makes all the difference to how I deal with whatever's thrown at me. So even with the car, again, tears, you know, why now kind of thing. But then it was like, what, you know, not as in I've given up, just like, well, whatever. Because, boy, right about now, I ain't got the answer to that. So it will be whatever. And again, it took me back to reminding me when I had a situation of not having a car, and then out of nowhere, I was gifted one by a very dear friend. I haven't spoken to her for a long time, actually. I must reach out and see how she's doing. But her partner had a car that he was not using, been sat at the yard, and they gave it to me. They didn't want any money. Obviously, it's not been driven for a long time, so whatever needed to be done to it was going to be on me or whatever. And that car I had for a number of years. It was such a blessing, and it came out of nowhere. So I'm seeing it like that with this car. The Lord will bring me something. Might be a pair of roller skates, I don't know, but it will come. Like, the only, you know, I walked into that court today with Sheila, my friend, but my defender was the Lord. He was the one that was leading that today. There was nothing really that I did today. No, there was nothing I did other than being organised with the paperwork. There was nothing that I did that made it go the way it did today. Nothing. I can't take the glory for that. I cannot. So that's where I'm at. Thank you for all your messages, guys, and for coming and listening and catching up on it. I really appreciate. Keep praying, because I don't know, you know, what's coming, and it might be one of you guys' prayers that links it to something. I don't know. Positive vibes, love, and prayer changes so much. I really don't think we believe or realise how powerful it is when you're doing it. I really just don't think that people, I just think we're so busy and distracted, you don't notice the blessings and in our lives, because we're so busy and distracted all the time. So I am grateful for the moments that I've had the meltdowns, because those are the moments that have hushed me to be quiet and listen. So by doing that, I've been able to hear the message and remember where I came from. Like, although the court setup today was very different to what I'd experienced before, I had experienced being in a court before, so I was prepared a little bit for that I was able to go in there without completely breaking down, if that makes sense. Like, those moments where you feel completely lost, broken, self-pity even to a degree at some point, I don't know, just like screaming, all of those moments, those I think moments are probably the most important if you listen, because that's when you find more clarity and you can hear, because it humbles you and you're silent. So although No one wants to see somebody cry, no one wants to see somebody hurt, blah, blah, blah. But that is when we learn the most, I think. I think that's when you learn the most, and it quietens you so you can listen to whatever it is, whatever message that you're meant to hear. You can hear it in those moments. You can't hear it in the moments of anger and rage, like me, anger and rage at this woman. If I'm being anger and rage at this woman, I can't hear what someone else over here is trying to tell me that could help me with that, right? Like, you can't hear in anger and rage. You can't hear in complete self-pity, because all you're thinking about is yourself and, oh my God, it's me, and oh my God, and oh my God, and oh my God, right? But when you're just sad and frustrated and lost, those moments, I believe, are when you hear the most. It's just whether you listen for it, and then when you hear it, whether you action it, whether you actually do anything with that. That's what I believe. That's how it's been for me anyway. And that was proven to me again today. So I ain't got no other explanation other than he was in the house today, and he made sure that he put his hand forward and was like, not today. It's not happening today. So thank you, Lord, for that. That's all I can say. Hey, Lindsay. Stay strong, girl. You got a good, let the letting agent owner get their karma. Yeah. The thing is, though, I'm not wishing them no badness. I'm really not. Because I don't know the landlord. He may be struggling. There may be something going on in his life, his family's life, that's led to, I have got no idea. I don't wish, I hope they're not. I hope they're not going through like a massive financial crisis or any of those things. I don't wish that pressure on anyone. My only upset with this whole thing is the way I've been treated, the way it's been done, and that nobody seems to have any humanity or empathy to actually sit down and be like, okay, how can we work this out that works for you, the landlord, works for you, the tenant, works for us, the agent. No one wants to do that, because all everyone is looking at, in my case anyway, is we can get at least £1,000 more. It's all money. It's all about money. It's got nothing to even do with me personally. It's just money. And that's why this world is ugly and horrible, and people in it are so horrible, and because we're so distracted by all this nonsense that goes on in the world, you don't even realise that that's how you're treating people sometimes. The jobs that you do, like, some of you are in high places in jobs that you do get to make these decisions about people's lives, and I can guarantee there's many people that don't even think of it like that. Just, oh, it's near the end of the day, let me just tick that box because, you know, I want to go home. Not realising that decision you just made could affect someone's whole entire life, because you didn't spend that extra little bit of time just to actually get to know the person that you're dealing with, even if it is on paper. Even if it is on paper, you're looking at an application form or whatever it is. It's like no one can be bothered unless it's directly benefiting them. Nobody seems to give a damn about anybody. That's how I feel. Anyway, I could be wrong, but that's how I feel. Everything's money. That is as simple as that. It is. Everything is money. Absolutely everything. It's like, just before I go, I was saying this, who was this? Was it Sheila I said it to? I can't remember. I was saying about this post office scandal. I haven't watched any of it, by the way. I just know bits because my mum shared it with me, but I haven't actually watched it. So I've seen bits and pieces. I think it's absolutely disgusting. It's absolutely, and people should be waking up by now and thinking, hang on a minute, what is actually going on in this world, in our government, in this, in that, because there's too many cases of fraud, of this and mistaken this and mistaken that, and it's us people that get affected, and they're still going about their business, doing whatever. But my point to this was, I saw something where they were debating whether Mr. Bates should accept, is it an OBE? I don't know. You know, like one of those award things you get for I don't know, is it bravery or something? You awarded it. Is it awarded by the, I don't even know, is it awarded by the King or the Prime Minister? I've got no idea. One of those kind of awards. Anyway, there was a debate on whether he should accept one or not. Should he be offered it? And I was like, we are spending so much energy debating whether this dude, listen, I'm not taking it away from him. I don't know the full story. And from what I understand, he is the man that blew the lid, right? Fair play to him. But what difference does it make to anyone if he accepts the award or not? It doesn't change the fact that for 20 years, these people lost everything. But we want to just give him an award and celebrate, worship him. Oh, well done, well done. Does it change what he went through for 20 odd years, or any of these people went through and lost? And some people lost never to return because they took their own lives. But we're glorifying a title given by the very same people that actually put you in jail. Like, really? Like, that shouldn't even be a question, in my opinion. Like, but that just shows where humanity is and where people's minds are at in the world today. We celebrate titles, regardless of whether that actually, is that guy good, or is he going to shut his door tonight and never be seen again? But it's okay, he was awarded such and such title, he's a hero in the Guinness Book of Records or whatever they put it in. It's nonsense, man. Anyway, let me not get into, because I don't know enough about politics and all that nonsense. I'm just saying what I see and what I feel. That's why I don't get into it, because I don't get into it. That's just my personal opinion, okay? Before someone comes on in and trolls me. USA is the same, full of government corruption. Yeah, listen, it's foot everywhere. Everywhere you look, it's corrupt. Now we got the AI. We don't know what's real from what isn't real. You don't know who's real from who isn't real. You don't know, like, who can you trust, who can't you trust? Like, it's just mad. It's madness. And some of the stuff I'm seeing going on in our world today, I'm like, I can't believe this is even happening. That this is even being allowed. I could just and that nobody's even noticing, that people aren't up in arms, that people aren't saying, oh my God, like, people are just, it's okay, it's acceptable. It's crazy. It's crazy. And I tell myself, you're getting old, Esther, you're getting old. Our government is total bull, man. All of the governments, every single one. Every single one. They're not there for us, no matter where you live. They're there for themselves and for their higher power. They're not there for us. And anyone that believes that they're that they are, then I'm sorry to burst your bubble. They really aren't. Just look at especially in the UK, just look at our systems. They are not made, our systems are not made to work for us. They are made to send us around in a circle like a hamster. You keep going around, you get nowhere. And, maybe one will slip through, but the majority of us just keep going around and round and round and round in a damn circle, never getting any, like, it's not made for us. Politics is a dirty subject, yeah, man. It's the same for all of us normal / poor people, right? It's a horrible world that we live in. It's our children that, yeah, it is the kids. This is the world that they're growing in, right? But this is why we need to teach them basics, because they don't know anything. And that sounds awful, isn't it? But they don't know anything, kids. They don't know how to survive without the gadget. They don't know they don't even know, a lot of these kids don't even know how to use cash anymore, because they never had to use cash, because they just use Apple Pay or whatever pay, or, they don't know how to count money. They don't know how to handle money. They don't even know how to hand it over the counter, to physically just hand it over the counter. They freak out. Why? Because they're not handling it. They don't get taught. Even with their lunches, it's on a card. They're not paying cash at the canteen. They're using a card to get the... It's just those tiny little things that people don't see as important because we're so busy. But those are the things that are going to make a massive difference later for them, for our kids. I'm telling you. Yeah, make the fat cats fatter. And more expensive. Yeah, I'm telling you, it's the little things that you just got to keep, and teaching them to question things. If it doesn't feel right, doesn't look right, it probably isn't. Question it. Don't just go with whatever because the masses are, because the masses will lead you to your death, literally, right? Like, just be open to exploring things when you need to. Yeah, they don't get freaked out holding a knife. No, that right? But you see how it's crazy, isn't it? It's really crazy, isn't it, Emma? Don't freak out holding a knife, because that has been normalised. But it has not been normalised for our kids to carry money. Think about that. I'm not going to get into it too deep, but think about it. It's been normalised to see young people with knives and guns through video games, through movies, through music entertainment. Okay, it's normalised. That it's not shocking to see an image of a young person with some kind of weapon in a video game. Or let's take the video game away, because if it's a war game, then you expect that. Let's take that out. Let's just take that out. Let's say music entertainment. It's not uncommon to see young people running around music entertainment with girls that are completely half naked, if they've got anything on, and young men, you know, with bling and some kind of weapon and preaching, you know, love money, literally love money, and dashing them like, or whatever. They're conditioned in that way. They're not, you don't see conditioning of images of young people going and buying something with cash, or that's just an example, if you understand what I mean. So they don't, how did we know to use cash when we were growing up? It's not because my mum sat down and taught me how to do it. It's because I watched her every time she went shopping on a Saturday. You saw her do the food shop. You saw her pay with cash. You saw how she counted her money out. You saw how my dad used to buy cigarettes. It wasn't because they sat down and said, right, this is money, this is what you do with it. You see it. But our kids today don't necessarily see that as much, because us adults are also all tap, 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 tap. So our kids, that's what they see. So they have no concept of money. It's on, all they know, it's on this little thing. And if it runs out, we'll just, Mum, Dad, can I have... And most kids get it. Back in my day, I didn't even get pocket money, let alone asking for more. But do you understand what I mean? So they've been conditioned. They don't know any different. And that's preparing them for when they do suddenly decide, that's it, people, no more cash. All of us lot will be up in arms, us oldies, and all the young ones will be like, oh, because they're old, they don't get it. That's what they'll say. Whereas some of us, not all of us, will be like, you don't get it. You don't know what that means when they take away that cash, right? You don't know what that means when they implement that rule. Like, there's a lot of us that will, and there'll be others that won't see that either, that will just be up in arms that they're right to have whatever is being effective, not actually how deep it means, what it means if you take that away to the whole, like, to so many different things. Like, speaking of no cash, you take away the cash, what happens to all the homeless people that we give cash to when we're passing by and we see someone, we put money in their jar? What happens to them? And like people say, you buy them food or whatever, but they don't always need food. Some of them need money to be able to book into that hotel or shelter or whatever it is. They need the cash. So what happens to them? Like, what would be the system for somebody that's homeless on the street? I'm guessing nobody really cares about that. They'll just fall by the wayside. Like they're rodents or something, right? I don't know. I'm just speculating because I honestly don't know. But I can't imagine that the people that sit around the round table and make these decisions have on their list of to-do lists, we mustn't forget about the homeless people. I can't imagine that, to be honest, right? So it's just, you know, I don't know. It's a scary place we're living in now. Everything we do, we have to second guess. You have to second guess everything, don't you? Oh my gosh, you have to second guess everything. I remember I put a picture up a little while ago of a little girl, and it was a cat. It was built out of snow, and to me, look, I didn't click. Hands up. I didn't look at it closely enough. From glancing at it a few times, it looked real, and I was like, wow, man, that must have taken them days to build that, because people do these things. And I remember putting it up on my business page, and someone commented and said, it's AI, like, and I was like, see, you just can't tell. Some of them you blatantly can, but there's a hell of a lot out there you can't tell if that's real or not. So if you can't tell what's real or not, how do you keep yourself safe? To me, you have to go within and listen. That's the only way you can navigate through it. And so if you're surrounded by people, you don't know if any of these people are real or you can trust them. Who are you speaking to? Where are you going? Whatever that means to you, by the way, like whatever your God is or your, spirit is, whatever it is you follow, well, where do you go? You go within and you go, right? It's hard out there, man. It's hard. But anyway, let me let you all go. Thank you for coming on. I wasn't expecting to be on here this long. But thank you for coming on, joining me, listen to me rant, put the world to rights and engage with me. I will go back and try and read through all the comments and reply to what I can. I can't reply to them all because Facebook then says you're spamming and then puts you in Facebook jail. So I'll comment as much as I can, but you can always inbox me if you need to. But again, thank you to everybody that sent out love, words of encouragement, words of support, prayers, all of it. Thank you to Sheila as well, because Sheila rearranged her week, unbeknown to me. I didn't know until afterwards, but she rearranged her week purposely to make sure that she'd be available to be with me today. Sheila doesn't live far from me. She's up the road. So she made herself available to take me there. And her plan was just to take me there. And she was like, I can go off, or I can, go off and come back, or I can go and sit in the waiting room, whatever. But she was there through the whole process, which was nice, because just knowing you had somebody that knew you in the room, that you had someone there for you, like, in a way, was really nice, because I would have dealt with that whole thing by myself. And not that she did anything or said anything, but just her presence. So Sheila, thank you. I appreciate that as well. So yeah, I'm gonna go. I will keep you posted any further updates. I guess I'm gonna have some nasty emails from them now about the boiler, because now they have to actually do something about it. So I guess they're gonna get a bit funny with me. I don't know, but I will smile, as I always do, and not take it in, not take on that, especially now I've seen this woman, and I'm kind of like, right, okay, I know what I'm dealing with, and I'm just going to do my best to find somewhere else. Ideal situation would be find a solution before it goes back to court, because then I can just say, here's your keys, like, bye, see you later, kind of thing, without having to go through that whole process again. So we'll see, but I will keep you posted. All right. Love you. Ah, you're still here, Sheila. I wasn't sure if you'd gone. Thank you, hon. I really do appreciate it. Is what a blessing she was a blessing today, CJ. It's important. Like, you never know, do you? Like, Valentina wanted to come with me today. She doesn't live local to me. She works full time and everything. And I know she was feeling really bad about it, but I told her, don't feel bad about it. Like, it is what it is. And if people can be there to support, great. But I also understand when people can't. I'm not expecting anything from anybody. I'm not. So thank you. Anyway, I'm going to go. I'm going to get a hot chocolate, and then I'm going to go to bed, because look at my eyes. I could, like, I look terrible, don't I? But I think that's the whole weight that has been on me is coming out in my face at the moment. But yeah. Anyway, I'm going to love you and leave you. Love you all. Have a good rest of your evening, whatever you're up to. And I will speak to you all soon. All right? See you later.